Well, what have we here? No, it's not Billy D. Williams. This time we are reviewing not GI Joe. This time we're talking Marvel Legends, the very unarticulated but very pretty throwback series. I mean, they've got the Kenner logo, which makes this seem like a retro toy, even though, as pointed out by other reviewers, Kenner never really did this style of superhero figures. This was a Secret Wars thing, and that was a Mattel line. Anyway, this is a kind of a what-if scenario. If Kenner had done Marvel back in the day, this is what they probably would have looked like, and felt like, and had the kind of aesthetic. And I have to admit, guys, I am not immune to this allure. This kind of marketing has worked on me. It's not something I would have gone out of my way to get, but as an impulse buy, when presented with them in the wild, this was at a Target store, there were a bunch of them swinging on the pegs, I thought to myself, yeah, I think I want to throw that into my shopping cart. It's not great, and don't worry, I haven't changed my stripes. I know I hear you saying, Steve, you're an articulation kind of guy. What's going on? You bought a retro Boba Fett figure, you bought this Wolverine. Trust me, guys, I don't plan on making a habit of this. But as I said before, even I am not immune to something as pretty as this. And it is pretty. The card really plays on your nostalgia buttons. It's beautiful Wolverine art. No idea what the origin of it is. It probably is a new work, but it absolutely does channel that classic Claremont and Byrne X-Men era. Wolverine himself is quite stocky and short in stature. It's, I believe, a completely new sculpt head to toe, and it needed to be because this buck is quite squat and is the kind of Wolverine stature that he always should have had. That he gets elongated all the time, be it cinematically or in action figure format, but as far as a very accurate to his comic book appearance aesthetic, this nails it. Well, with some caveats. I mean, they missed a paint app on his boots, which I think is unforgivable. I mean, when the gaudy, beautiful, vibrant color schemes are your thing, missing a bold color swipe of black is, yeah, as I say, unforgivable. But the figure itself is attractive and might have some surprises, might not. It's kind of what you see is what you get. There are no frills to this. It comes in at a very affordable price point. It was 20 Australian dollars. I believe they retail for 10 US. Now that undercuts reaction figures by 10 bucks, so it's half price. You don't get much in the bubble. Accessories are pretty scant, but then again, these are superhero figures. What accessories does Wolverine really need? Anything he comes with in other iterations seems kind of extraneous anyways. He's got blasters in the classic Toy Biz figurine, or a removable helmet. It's not really a helmet, it's a mask. He came with a katana in later Marvel Universe figure iterations. And I know that links back to like Wolverine's time in Japan, and particularly Larry Hama and his comic book run on Wolverine. But does he need it? I mean, when he's got his claws popped, that katana just, it looks weird firstly and is redundant. So Wolverine in his basic format is perfect. Sublime in its simplicity. The card back is far less stellar. We've got a little bit of a write-up, which is hilarious because it's got a rhyming couplet. Wolverine's been an enemy to many and a friend to some, but with the X-Men at his side, there's no threat he can't overcome. Shakespeare it's not, but it's fun that they've included that, and you know, the plethora of languages never help, but you know, these blurbs were always quite brief anyway, even in the Toy Biz days. The trading card style artwork can be collected and snipped if that's your thing, but it's nice to keep this card intact. I plan on taking the bubble off and leaving the card quite clean. Maybe just putting it in a file folder somewhere and forgetting about it, because me, I'm all about the plastic. So I've rattled on long enough. Once again, just look at that gorgeous artwork. Lovely that it's got this kind of Savage Land little touch of topography, but mainly it's that beautiful pink backing with the sort of black distress on the outside, and then eye-popping, gorgeous Wolverine artwork dominating the card. The font is perfect as well. That comes from his solo comic book series, and it says Marvel Legends at the top. Not to be confused with the 6-inch Legends series. This is something else. Anyway, it's time to free you, my little friend. I find this quite amusing. It says, small parts may be generated. Because he doesn't come with any small accessories, but I suppose if you crack this guy open, you'll generate arms or head that may then become lodged in a under 3-year-old throat. But yeah, he's pretty solid. I'm sure that won't be a problem for me. Thanks. So I don't know how many of you guys out there do this, but if you want to then redisplay your figure back in the bubble, just make incisions on 3 sides. Creates that little hinge. Anyway, it's time to free little man. And what I love about this figure, well, obviously not his articulation or lack thereof, but the fact that he is very diminutive. I don't have any X-Men figures with me, but I do have GI Joe's resident hairy survivalist. And look at that! These guys are the same scale, but boy oh boy, did they nail Wolverine's stature. That's amazing. I mean, for all intents and purposes, these parts could see reuse for Puck, another Canadian former member of Alpha Flight. Well, Wolverine was a former member, Puck very much is a current member on Alpha Flight, but they both were teammates once upon a time, and they both were the diminutive little guys, and yeah, those biceps could totally be used for Puck. Anyway, it's very simplistic. It could be more detailed, but then would probably come in at a higher price point. I mourn the no paint on the boots. Something that you've come to expect with Wolverine is maybe a little bit of arm hair. That would have certainly been a welcome detail. But I tell you what is nice surprise. I think he's got, yeah, a wrist swivel and bootcut swivel. Does he? Oh, no, it looks like it, but it doesn't actually move, because I don't think it does. It would be a pretty useless point of articulation anyways, let's be honest. Because what you're going to do without any kind of articulation up here, a swivel at the boot cuff would just, I don't know, just look like he's, I don't know, doing a little bit of a foot splay. But this is cool. I didn't expect wrist, which is nice because it gives him the uppercut or just the at rest kind of pose, which, yeah, does give you some options, but mainly he's for walking around looking tough, looking mean. Love the big, gaudy, retro belt. That's a nice touch. And the gold paint on mine is lovely. Fortunately, I had 2 to choose from. The one looked a little bit gloppy. This one had a very clean gold application, so I went with the clean. But yeah, no frills action figure this. It's funny, I don't think the back should necessarily look like that. I think the hood part should be yellow and the top of the neck should be brown. But since it's cast in yellow plastic, that's where it ends, and that's pretty ugly. But yeah, guys, what can I say? Basic action figure gives me that nostalgia kick along with the package presentation, and I enjoy this just for the fact that it's available. I don't have to order it online, I don't have to wait for postage to arrive, I don't have to pay for postage. It's just something that I could, in the moment, because I wanted a piece of fresh plastic, just get. So I totally get the reaction crowd. I don't love the price point, but you know, if you are looking for GI Joe at retail, there's a glut of that stuff going around. If I was presented with it in the store, just as I did with old Wolverine, I'd have a hard time not putting it in my basket. So what is the verdict then? I guess it's the kind of, if it's in my crosshairs, I'll get it. If not, I won't seek it out. So don't worry guys, I haven't gone over to the dark side. I'm not suddenly going to become a 5 POA apologist. But this is fun, and it scratched the itch. Which is a very appropriate turn of phrase given this is Wolverine. Alright, I think I'm going to take him on a little adventure through the Savage Land now. I hope you enjoyed this quick shot review. Yeah, I'd give him a thumbs up. And once again, it's a success to be able to stand him in your X-Men display with the kind of sizing that he should have. You know, he should have set the bottom end of the height comparison, moving all the way up to, I suppose, Colossus or beyond. Who is the biggest X-Man? Drop down into the comments below and let me know. Also, let me know what you think of this line. Do you collect them? Is it an oddity that you either are warming to, or is it something that you flat out avoid?
I'm the best at what I do, bub. But what I do isn't very nice. Violence.
Haha! Great success. Using the power of a permanent marker, I have colored in the missing paint app. Alright, time to do the other boot. Much better, I'm sure you'll agree.
Nice.
Okay guys, things I like about Wolverine. I like the stature, as I said before. I like the colors, the vibrancy of the figure. The sculpt is as you'd expect for like a basic value figure, particularly when it's going for this retro aesthetic. I like how they've handled the claws. They are individuated, they're flexible, and they're not too long, so they kind of do have that retro feel. They have the right appearance. I think they're a success. It's so easy to get Wolverine's claws wrong, particularly at this scale. Obviously, articulation sucks. I'll make no bones about that fact. This is at the same price point as Spin Masters like Batman and Justice League figures, and yet this guy has far less articulation. But that is the aesthetic they're going for. You either love it or hate it. Personally, I think this guy's articulation puts him squarely in the included with a vehicle kind of figure category. It is not the kind of figure that you would buy single carded. Also, he comes with absolutely nothing. Those Spin Master figures come with a plethora of accessories. They're dumpy as shit, but there's still a lot of them. This guy came with nothing, but then again, he needs nothing. He is Wolverine. What you gonna do? Give him a cigar? Actually, that'd be kind of neat. But then he'd have to have a hole in his mouth, and nah, that'd be ugly. So yeah, there are wins and there are losses, but all told, I'm still smiling. It is the perfect toy for a toddler. Stay away from Daddy's expensive GI Joe vintage collection and play with these unarticulated pieces of crap.
The hunter becomes the hunted in the Savage Land. creatures have evolved to gargantuan sizes. All of a sudden, I'm no longer on top of the food chain. The beast inside must come out. Yeah. Schnickety schnick, bub. Time for some berserker rage up in here. Yeah.
Those are the days, my friends. Action figure in hand, we'd adventure through the bottom of the garden. Yep, it's nice to be able to live it again through this little guy. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Yo Joburg, everybody.